There we go. All right, people. Happy Sunday. The rain slowed down a bit, and now it is just cloudy and sunny and warm. Feels good. And I was just inside some greenhouses and outside some greenhouses looking for plants. And I wanted to talk a little bit about nursery plants and things like that. So there we go. All right, so what I want to tell you about today is I was outside of the greenhouses at Van Tom's here, and on the outside they have a lot of different annuals that are really good for spring, but they're also covered. They have a cover over the top of where they keep those, and I don't know if they bring them in at night or if they cover them to protect from frost. Or if the covering that they have protects them just fine. But I just want to remind you that it gets cold at night. So there's a couple things I want to mention. One is that if you get the perennials right now, those beautiful baskets and things that you see in the greenhouses, they're hanging or whatever. When you are in the greenhouses, take note of the temperature on your skin. If you are really, really warm and you're just wearing a t-shirt, that's what those plants are going to want. They were grown in warm conditions. I'll roll my windows a little bit. Oh, great. They were grown in warm conditions, really warm conditions, and that's what they're used to. So I do not advise that you immediately take plants that you get at the greenhouse right now. Do not take the plants out and just put them outside yet. Just don't do that. Keep them like near a sunny window, or put them in a cooler room at home, and then put them on a sheltered porch, and then eventually out into the air, because they're not used to that. So when you're in the greenhouse, like today, I'm wearing a sweater and a shirt underneath it. I was pretty warm. So anyway, that's the conditions that they're growing in. Now, this greenhouse had annuals on the outside, like I mentioned, but they also had some perennials on the outside too that I managed to look through. They have coneflower, they have heliobore. Heliobore is blooming right now, so it would be fine to put in the ground right now. And like I said, these were outside. They had some coneflower, they had coreopsis, they had lavender, they had a number of other perennials. I picked up some salvia, and because they have peonies, they have hibiscus. The hibiscus are just starting to break the buds. Now the hibiscus were inside the nurseries, inside the greenhouses, breaking buds. My hibiscus at home, they're just sticks right now. I don't see any. There's nothing going on at the ground right now. So because these hibiscus are in the greenhouses, they're starting to break buds. It doesn't mean that they're ready to go in the ground quite yet. You might have to wait or get them acclimated to the cooler temperatures before you actually put them outside in their permanent home. So the hibiscus were in the greenhouse. I saw peonies, lots of peonies on the outside of the greenhouse. I saw some other I saw irises out there. German irises, the bearded irises, those were out there. So the plants that you see on the outsides, the perennials especially, that you see on the outsides of the greenhouses, the annuals that you see on the outsides of the greenhouses, you could put those in right now. But the other stuff that's inside the greenhouses, inside those walls, you're going to want to acclimate them a little bit before you just plunk them out there and let them go. Now you might put them in the ground and then just use like a frost cloth to cover them, to protect them for a while at night, and then open it up in the daytime. Like if it's going to be 50, even if it's rainy, that would be okay, and then close it up at night until the temperatures warm up more steadily and until there's no frost. Or if you have hanging baskets that you bought, maybe you put them outside on a nice day during the daytime, maybe take them into the garage at night or into a mudroom at night to protect them from the frost. I don't want you taking all these beautiful plants from tropical temperatures and putting them outside, and then they die, and then you're so sad because they're not working out. So yes, the greenhouses are starting to have perennials. The selection's a little bit limited, and there were perennials on the inside of the greenhouse that were in warm conditions, and there were perennials on the outside. So just make sure that when you when you get your plants, think about the conditions they're in, feel that temperature, and then try and make a similar temperature when you get them home, and gradually lower those conditions, lower the temperatures. Or if you're not ready to do that yet, if you're not ready to baby your plants, then wait a little while. Wait a week, wait 2 weeks, see what the weather does. Or if you have a greenhouse at home, you can put them in the greenhouse. Now, the caution is going to be like during sunny days, a greenhouse can easily get up to 90 or 100 degrees. So if you don't have a way to monitor the conditions of the greenhouse, the temperature is going sky high, or the temperature's plummeting at night and you don't have a way to heat it or keep it consistent, or if you're not willing to cover it with frost cloth at night and vent it in the daytime so that all that hot air can escape, then again, you might want to wait a little while before you pick up these beautiful items for yourself or for your loved ones. So that's one thing. That's about the annuals and perennials from greenhouses and the temperature and the climate, and just think of it like it's a new baby, it's a new grandchild, it's a new whatever. I mean, you can't just take a naked baby out into the cold, right? It's going to get miserable. It might get hurt. So I don't want you wasting your money and your time and then losing out on your flowers. And I know it's so exciting in Michigan when it's finally spring and we're like, woohoo, we can go do our thing and we can garden. I know, it's very exciting. It's very, very exciting. Just use some common sense. And sometimes in our plant addictions, sometimes we don't use the common sense. Okay, so the other part is, the other caution I have for you for nurseries and greenhouses is that they are presenting these plants in full bloom, many of them in full bloom. And that's so you can be attracted to them, like a little bee or a little butterfly, a little pollinator, full bloom. The people go, oh, isn't that lovely? I must have this in my garden. But you have to kind of take a look at the tag and see, when is this plant supposed to be in bloom? Is it super early spring? Is it spring? Is it summer? Is it late summer or fall? And when you get the plants home, if you decide to buy those perennials or even the annuals that are in full bloom, beautiful flowers, be prepared to cut those blooms off as soon as they're done. Or even, especially perennials, if you put them in the ground right now, I would actually cut the blooms off right now. And it sounds heartless and it sounds mean, but when you put plants in the soil, you want them to make roots. The most important thing they can do is make roots. And with these temperatures and the rain and the cool, this is a great time to move perennials into your gardens because they're going to get established pretty quick. But you want them to make roots, because from the roots is where the food is going to be over the winter time, and that's what's going to give you beautiful leaves and beautiful shoots later on. So if you get something in bloom and you put it in the ground, snip off the blooms. Now, what you can do is you can snip the blooms off and make a little bouquet. Bring it inside so you can still enjoy the flowers, but let the plant have time to establish those roots, to get out of its boundaries of its pot and into the soil. Reach out into the soil, looking for the moisture it needs and looking for the nutrients it needs. And you're going to have better plants. Now, something that many newer gardeners don't know, and even some experienced gardeners don't think about necessarily, is that for perennials, so annuals, they're going to live and die. They're going to put on their big show for the whole summer, the whole growing season, and by the fall, the frost will either kill kill them off, or you could pot them up maybe and bring them inside perhaps to go over the wintertime. That's annuals, 1 year annual. But perennials, they come back every year. So as long as you plant them in the right location, they're going to come back every year. Now, you got to look at your tags. I have a client garden. It's the one I think I've showed pictures of where the plumbing, their plumbing out front had to get all dug up with like a backhoe and a scooper and a shovel and all that stuff, and to reach the pipes, which were way down deep in the ground, like 6, 8, 10 feet in the ground. And when they refilled the hole, they didn't care what soil went where and when. So we went there yesterday. Yes, we stopped by there yesterday morning and took a look at the soil there, and it was just like I was fearing. The client had set pictures over, and it looked like it was all clay clumps, clay, like, and we're talking like modeling clay, like literally the stuff you could put like on a pottery wheel, spin, add some water and make a vase or something. That kind of clay. Because I mean, they're plumbing fixture people. They're not gardeners. They're not landscapers. They weren't going to like carefully put the clay down at the bottom and then carefully get the compost and stick that on top of the clay and return the garden to the way it was. They're there to fill the hole. So when I'm looking for plants for this client's garden. It will be, when I plant the plants, it will be where I have to make the hole larger, a lot larger than the pot of the plant. I will backfill with compost, and then I will plant within the compost, within the clay. So when I was looking at plants and I'm thinking of the design for the client, I have to pick plants that where the tag does not say well draining soil. I mean, if it prefers moist soil, I could probably get away with that because clay holds a lot of water. But well draining, no, not necessarily, because of the clay. The clay is literally like a bowl in the ground. So when you're looking at plants, make sure that you are looking at the tag and make sure you put the perennials, especially perennials and shrubs and trees, make sure you put them where they want to be. Do not put shade plants that really like it dark, cool, and that means their soil is moist and cool and their roots are shaded. Don't put a shade plant in the sunshine or you will be disappointed. Don't put a sun-loving plant in shade or you will be disappointed. No matter how gorgeous the flower is, no matter how gorgeous the foliage is, I know you're falling in love with these people or these plants. I know it. But you got to think about where their home is going to be. And another example would be, don't put a water-loving plant or a I don't know, just a standard plant. Don't put them in underneath your eaves of your house where they're not going to get any water. It's very, very dry. Take a look outside sometime when you go to your home. Go up to the side of your house, look above you, and look for the eaves of your house. Our eaves are really small. I'm looking at my house right now, and ours are only maybe a foot wide. But some people's eaves, which is basically the part of your roof line and your peaks and stuff. I'm not explaining it well, but your eave is that ledge that sticks out from your roof. It sticks out a little ways from your house. So you're not going to want to put any kind of plant that doesn't like dry soil. You don't want to put it there. So go to your house sometime, look under your eaves, check out the soil underneath, and you will be amazed at how dry it is. I mean, really, 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 really dry. Now, maybe you want to put a yucca there. Maybe you want to put cactus there, because like we have prickly pear cactus. But then you still want to make sure that it's going to get enough sunshine and dry condition that it's going to do you well. So plant fever is real. Everyone wants to go to the nurseries now, and they all want to buy plants. So you want to make sure that you're buying the right plant for the right place and the right environment, and that way you won't get disappointed down the road. I mean, you could buy the wrong plant and you could baby it and you could water it and water it and water it, or you could amend the soil to try to make it dry. But really, you probably should have bought the right plant for the right spot to start with. So don't. And if you're not sure, cabbage moth. Yep, it's probably gonna get my cabbage that's open. Anyway, if you're not sure, just put them in your basket, okay? Put them in your basket. Keep walking around the greenhouse, looking at stuff, putting all the things in there that you want. And before you check out, make sure that you actually read. Sorry, hubby was right there. That you actually read the labels before you walk out that door, before you hand them your credit card or your cash or whatever, to make sure that you are choosing the plants that are right for your space. And as anything, if you need help with something, you can always contact me, Tammy Lowe, the Lazy Northern Gardener. My email address is thelazynortherngardener@yahoo.com. I have a website, thelazynortherngardener.com. You can call me. You can go to my Facebook page and message me. You can go to my Instagram. And I can help guide you to make the best decisions for your dollars and for your time. Because I don't know about you, I got no time to be babying plants. You know, either they're gonna be in the right place and time and space and environment, or I can't buy them. I just can't. Because I'm short to be babying the plants.